We've had our podcast for 7 years now. Crazy, I know. So when we decided to start Clutch Defense, it was kind of scary. There was a lot of anxiety. Will people like it? Will anyone buy it? How do you run all the behind the scenes of a new brand? Well, that's where Shopify comes in. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. It makes building a store super easy with ready-to-use templates, built-in tools to create email and social campaigns, and everything you need in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics. And that iconic Shop Pay button, that's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet, meaning fewer abandoned carts and more sales. So it's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for $1 per month trial. Go to shopify.com/wifeofcrime1. That's shopify.com/wifeofcrime1. Every time the season starts to change, I get this urge to reset everything. Like I want to declutter my house, open windows, get organized. And lately, I realized, why don't I do that with my finances too? Because if I'm being honest, money used to feel a little scattered. I have a bunch of different apps, different logins, things I'd rather not look at too closely. So let Monarch do your financial spring cleaning for you. It's one dashboard that gets your entire financial life organized. No more clutter, no more mess, no more scattered logins, just accounts, investments, property, and more all in one place. And what actually surprised me was seeing where my money was really going. Like, I thought I had a decent handle on things, but Monarch showed me my savings was slipping and my spending was going up. Nothing dramatic, just enough to matter, and I probably wouldn't have caught it without Monarch. So if you're ready to spring clean those finances, get your first year of Monarch for half off, just $50 with promo code WifeOfCrime. Use WifeOfCrime at monarch.com to get your first year half off, just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code WifeOfCrime.
It's the Paradise Podcast.
I am your host, Ryan Michelle Bethay, with my husband, Sterling.
What's up?
Join us here on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus, where we'll discuss each episode with the cast and crew of Paradise. I'll be getting all the secrets from Dan Fogelman, James Marsden, Shailene Woodley, Julianne Nicholson, and Sterling Kelby Brown. Woo! Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming.
And stream Paradise on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus.
This podcast is an unscripted, unedited conversation about true crime. We take the cases very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all, and neither should you. Welcome to Wife of Crime.
So, Russ, there are so many cases that we've covered that boggle our minds. But at the end of the day, we can come to a solid conclusion. We can wrap the thing up. Well, this is not one of those cases. The more you dissect this one, the less it makes sense. So I'm going to take you on a journey, and I think you'll be shocked by how this all plays out. This is the insane murder of Robert Wone. Hi guys, just want to give a little disclaimer in the beginning. Not really a trigger warning, but I know some of you guys listen to us with your kids in the car, and I'll just let you know that over the next 2 episodes, this one and the next one, we are going to be talking about some pretty sexually explicit things throughout these episodes. So I just wanted to give you a heads up, give you a warning. Listen with caution for yourself or anybody that this might not be completely appropriate for. Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wife of Crime, a true crime podcast where I tell my husband, Russ, true crime stories and he reacts to them.
What up, folks? Your boy, Russ, a.k.a. I feel like it's been a while, a.k.a. I work a lot of overtime, too, a.k.a. I'm getting really old. AKA, that makes me sad.
Okay, so first, it has been a little bit of a while, not for an episode. We did a Patreon episode last week, but we haven't done a regular episode in 2 weeks.
Oh, you know what it was, too? We did that Epstein thing, and I felt like I was recording every day.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, that was literally 2 months ago, Russ, so I need you to relax.
Well, now every time I sit in front of this microphone, I get PTSD. What it is I've run out of words.
Yeah, you run out of things to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give me time to refresh. But I was saying I'm getting old is sad day your boy was at one of them dollar stores, Tree or whatever.
Dollar Tree,
Dollar Tree, getting the seeds and stuff that I like for the spring.
He's a gardener, folks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried on some readers, the old man readers.
And you realize that it helped you read better.
Cue the sad music here. Those things can change your life.
They can change your life.
Yo, you make your regular iPhone look like an iPhone Max. I could see stuff, I could see stuff, but it just makes it so effortless. Like, I always feel like I'm trying to see, if that makes sense. I could put those on and not try to see.
He literally put them on yesterday. We were in bed watching a movie, and he put on the readers, and he goes, "My phone looks like an iPad."
Yo.
Bro, you are getting old. The funny thing is your body is, your eyes are aging and you're getting gray hair, but you still literally act like you're 18 to 22.
So there's been a lot going on this week.
No, there's been a lot going on this month.
This world.
In true crime news, it is insane how much is happening right now.
We got the 60-year-old principal that tackled a school shooter who had a gun pointed at a kid, and people were running away. This principal opens his door, bolts at the guy, and tackles him.
Yes.
And don't you fuck with 60-year-old old man strength. They still got strength. They just don't have agility or balance. If they get a hold of you, they ain't gonna let go.
He got shot, too.
Yeah, and he held, and then someone came and helped.
Yeah.
Why wasn't he punching the other dude in the head and beating the shit out of him? He was
he grabbed the gun from him. I mean, yeah, that guy is a total hero.
Oh my God.
But
what's his name? We have to say his name.
Kirk Moore. Yeah, that's his name.
Hey, if you want some Wife of Crime merch, Kirk, hit us up. It's on the arm. I can't do nothing else for you.
Or Clutch Defense.
Shout out to Kirk Moore.
Shout out to Kirk. Yo, he's a hero.
Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
Yes, that's what it should have said on all the front of the newspapers and all of USA. Captain Kirk. We need to celebrate people that are really out there doing good for us. We always focus on the bad. Now, that's a terrible situation. It's really bad. But people like him.
Yeah, he is a hero. There's so much happening in true crime news. It's really wild. We can just rapid fire because I didn't even get a chance to research a lot of this stuff because so much is happening. So we had that going on. We had the dude who is I made a reel about it, the quadruple amputee from Maryland who shot someone, killed them in his car, and then dumped the body in somebody's front yard.
Yo, he was a crazy little chicken nugget. He was a party nugget.
They have him doing... I'm not, Russ. I am not. We are not. I'm trying to just avoid talking about that.
No one's has the phrase party nugget ever been spoken before.
Right.
Was that the first time?
I don't know. There's film of him doing keg stands and headstands and snorting coke off of dollar bills while he's doing a headstand.
No, he's wild. But now it's fucked up. He's going to be in jail. He's a little defenseless, man.
Yeah, he
what you going to do?
Well, so I couldn't help but laugh because he is a murderer. Literally, he's a murderer. And clearly, there's all this footage coming out. He looks like he's kind of a scumbag a little bit.
He's a crazy nugget.
So there's footage of him from his ex-girlfriend, and he's screaming at her. He's on the front porch of his house, and he's screaming his head off at her. And I always go to the comments because you say the comments that people say on the internet, but you say them out loud.
That's true. I always feel like the stuff people say in the comments is really funny, and I would appreciate if people said that out loud.
Yeah, and you say it out loud. The first comment under this video is Girl, why don't you kick him?
Like, literally. Like, why?
I literally died.
Yo.
When I read it, I was at work when I read it, and I just burst out laughing because I was like, oh, I just imagine her just walking over and being like, bloop, and kicking him over.
Yo, if he got too crazy and annoying me, I would turn him upside down and spin him like a dreidel.
Oh, geez.
Right on his head.
Anyway.
He'd be like the best break dancer ever.
This is, he's a murderer. And he's going to jail for a long time. And of course, his defense attorney is saying that it was self-defense.
Yeah.
Come to find out, the dude that he shot, though, so the girlfriend that posted that video, the ex-girlfriend that posted that video, the guy who he shot, I guess, was now dating his ex. So I think this has to do with a love triangle situation. But according to his defense attorney, he shot the man in self-defense. Anyway. I don't know. Another thing that's happening is the Gilgo Beach serial killer confessed. He pled guilty. He confessed in the court in front of the family members. This has been such a saga. We covered it on Patreon. We did the 3-part Gilgo Beach documentary. We covered it on Patreon a while ago. That documentary was crazy. Our episodes, we didn't realize all the details about the case.
And it was so close to home.
Yeah, when we watched the documentary, and it was so close to home for us. So on Patreon, we covered that 3-part series, and now seeing it come full circle and everything that these families have been fighting for, it's just so crazy that he confessed and he detailed in the courtroom what he did, how he did it, and it's just sick. That was nuts. What else in true crime news?
This one got me. The lady that tried to kidnap the kid in the Walmart,
yes.
And she was trying to stab him in the parking lot. She cut his face.
She had a butcher knife.
Yes, and the cops shot her. I think it was the cops.
Yeah, the cops shot her. I think they should have. I mean, that was a justified shooting.
Yeah, I mean, she obviously is nuts. I don't know more about that story, but there's a picture of her holding the knife next to this baby in a shopping cart.
Mm-hmm.
It's like out of a horror movie, and when you see it in the horror movie, you cringe.
Yeah.
But it's actually real life.
Yeah, he's a little
and
kid.
From what I saw, thank God, it's just a little cut. It looked like on the side of his face, I think.
Oh, my God.
You know, and it seemed like that's what happened. Hopefully that's it. That's terrible, too, but it's small. We're going to have to look more into this one.
Yeah, this one was crazy. I can't imagine being his parents, and the cops shooting her, I wasn't mad about it. So everything is crazy. So much happening right now in true crime news. I really feel like, you know, those planes that go over crops and they do the crop dusting?
Yeah.
I think we all need some THC, some weed. I feel like the world just needs to be crop dusted.
Who are you, Willie
weed.
Nelson? Where?
Everybody just needs to calm the fuck down.
Well, that's true.
Like, life is too crazy right now. We have too much happening. And then all this true crime news, it's just a lot.
This is over here trying to pass the blunt.
Our nervous systems are so out of whack. We all need a collective inhale of some weed.
Well, what's really going on is we just all know too much.
Yeah.
I guarantee the world has always been this batshit crazy. We just didn't know, and we didn't know instantly.
True.
There was always shit going on.
True. Yeah. That's a good point.
And unfortunately, now we know.
We do. Well, let's talk about Patreon. We are currently doing the Homicide New York series. So we did the episode 1 of season 2 of Homicide New York last week. We released it on Patreon. We're going to be covering all 5 episodes in this season. We did this for season 1 of Homicide New York, and everyone loved it, and we loved it. So over the next, I guess, month and a half, we're going to be putting out 5 episodes on Patreon of the Homicide New York season. And Russ is super excited about it.
No, I'm definitely going to. That's a very optimistic goal of the amount of episodes and the time you want them done.
We did it last time.
Bruh.
We did it last time.
Sometimes Michael Jordan scores 50. Sometimes he scores 30.
We're doing it,
But
Russ.
they're both still good.
Last week we put out an episode. We're putting out another one next week.
The boss.
Another thing on Patreon, we just picked the new book So if you want to join the book club, we're starting a new book. We did all of our Zoom meetings and they went really well.
They actually did. I was very surprised because when you're like meeting random people and I don't know, what was it, maybe like 60 people or so, and everyone was cool.
It was really chill. We had a great time in the Zoom meetings. So we're starting a new book now, and the book is called,
I'm guessing the book I want to win didn't win.
It did not win.
See,
yeah,
you guys are traitors.
The book that we are going to be reading is called Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson.
It does sound good.
We're all very excited about it. So if you want to join the book club, just join Patreon at any of the tiers. You can get into the community chats. We have pretty much a giant group chat going that has like 160 people in it. And we also talk on the feed, and it's been a lot of fun. We had a good time. Russ has the patron shout outs.
So when you join Patreon, I'll shout you out. And there's other perks over there. So this week we have Kim, Alicia, Cursa, Jen, Dawny. Wait, I could see you guys' faces. I always read on paper.
Yeah, I usually write it down for you.
Look, I can see you guys. Huh?
You can see their profile pictures.
Yeah.
Because he's now reading it off of Patreon.
Yeah. Dawny, Monica, KW, Meg, Sweet and G, Hector, Perla, Abby, Crystal, Haley, Carrie, Tiffany, Alexis, Victoria, Yvonne, Anna, Allie, Matt. It made me laugh because Matt has like a porn star mustache. Sorry, Matt. Danny, Lorena, Cheryl, Nicole, Daphne, the real Brit G, Grayson, Vanessa, Tiffany, and Abby.
All right.
I'm out of breath.
That was a lot.
It was. And I was distracted because I could see you guys' faces. And now I'm going back and I'm like looking at who listens to us. It's interesting because...
Yeah. You can see all their profile pictures now.
Yeah. Hector's up here with his headshot. I hope you get some callbacks. You see people's travel pictures and stuff. I wish everyone actually had a profile picture so I could see who everyone was.
Yeah.
I think it kind of like makes it more personable.
More personalized. Well, cheers to you guys.
Oh, cheers. That's right.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right. So this week's review of the week, which I've been doing steady for a long time.
You've been doing it for 5 years. Did you know that?
So I've been doing review of the week probably as long as I've been probably ever done anything in my life then.
Yeah, I think you've done... I mean,
I never had a job for 5 years straight.
You never have?
Hell no. I'm out that bitch.
Wow.
If you want to grow, you got to go.
Well, this job we've been doing now since 2019. So this has been 7 years.
God dang.
July 22nd. We won't forget this year because we forget every year the anniversary of Wife of Crime. But July 22nd will be 7 years. And you've been doing the patron shout outs and the review of the week since 2021, which is 5 years ago.
So then wow, that's crazy. 7 years. So I'm thinking about like some of the people that we knew early on, which was like, how the hell were they even there?
Yeah, like how'd they even find us?
Like we just threw out shit in the air and told some friends.
Yeah. And then randomly people from Australia started listening.
They'd be like, okay, good day, mate.
Shout out to you guys who've been here since day one from Australia.
That's crazy. I actually want to live there. Everything I see, I think I'm in. So this week's review of the week is from Katie Bug. The only mold this OCD cleaning freak loves.
Aww.
5 stars. Cannot get enough of you two. Jess, you do an exceptional job telling the stories. Wait, I can say exceptional.
Okay.
So I just did. Jess, you do an exceptional job telling the stories and ignoring Russ.
Uh-huh.
Russ, I appreciate all your unpaid overtime these days. Hopefully your lack of understanding just what day and time and year it actually is helps you forget just how much she has you doing for the crime family. Hugs and kisses.
Aw, good.
So thanks, Katie Bug.
We are going to be doing a lot because he's going to have to do the Homicide New York season. And this week, we are doing part 1 of a 2-parter. But I will tell you guys, the last time we did a multi-part episode, which was the Epstein case, Russ got very frustrated with me because I forced him to do like 3 episodes and a Patreon episode all in a matter of like 3 days.
And our episodes are not a half hour nowadays. Like
No.
they used sometimes back in the day to be like a 45-minute episode. Like our episodes have went to like an hour and a half because you're enjoying writing more.
Yeah. I write more detailed than I used to.
And I even shut up more, and episodes still went longer.
Yeah, because I write a lot more. My scripts are longer.
Yeah.
And
But they're amazing. They're just longer.
yes, we are doing a 2-parter. And this is part 1 of our 2-parter. And you guys are going to be annoyed at me because I always put out part 1 and part 2 back to back, but we're not doing that this time because Russ wants to hear part 2 next week. Because Russ wants to wait a week, you guys got to wait a week. So I'm blaming him.
I'll take that. But this just shows we don't record ahead.
No.
We are recording this episode. Jess is going to go and immediately edit it and put it out, so you will get it tonight or tomorrow morning. Like, these are instant. They're in real time. So
Yeah.
you're getting us now. Like, you're not even getting us a week ago.
No. This is right now.
Yeah, so like there have been episodes where I've been hungover from yesterday and you listened to me hungover and I was still hungover.
All right. So, as I said, this is a 2-part episode, and this is part 1. And this case is such a head scratcher. It is one of those cases, it's very well known. It is one of those that literally no one can put it all together. It's like pieces of a puzzle. You have all these random pieces, and you try to put them all together, and things just don't quite fit. And this has been 20 years now. This case happened in 2006. And for 20 years, there is just no clear-cut explanation. And it really boggles everyone's mind.
Don't worry. The profiler is here, though.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of this, we may be unboggled.
Unboggled. We'll see. So this case is very layered. So that's why we need to commit a lot of time to it. So that's why I'm doing 2 parts.
Layered like fall fashion.
I'm going to, yes. So I'm going to tell you the overview of the case, and then we're going to really pick it apart next week when we'll go detail by detail.
Okay, I get it now. Because I was thinking, like, you're telling me, which is probably deep as hell for me this week if I was, like, looking into a case.
Yeah.
And then next week, we'll probably dissect it.
We're dissecting next week.
Yeah, because there's no way you just scratch and surface.
Yeah, it's a lot. And it's going to be too much to try to do all in one episode.
All right, folks, get your notepads out. I feel like we're going to have to keep track.
Yes, this is definitely a one where you got to pay attention to the details. There are some cases where by the end of it, you can at least land somewhere. Maybe you don't know every single detail, but you can piece together a version of events that makes sense. You can follow the timeline, understand the motive, connect the dots in a way that feels complete. Like, okay, maybe it's messy, maybe it's dark, but at least you get it. This is not one of those cases. Because with this one, it's not just that things don't add up. It's that every time you try to make them add up, something breaks. You can go down one theory, feel like you're getting somewhere, and then all of a sudden, you hit a wall. So you back up, try a different angle, same thing. And the part that keeps messing everything up, the part that will not let this case settle, is the why. Because usually, no matter how crazy a case is, the motive is the thing that brings it back down to earth. It's the piece that makes you go, okay, I don't like it, but I understand it. But here, no matter how you spin it, the why just doesn't fully land. And it's so frustrating. And that's what makes this one stick with people. Because it's not just a mystery where we're missing a piece. It's a situation where the pieces we do have don't seem to belong together. Like you're trying to force something into place that just doesn't fit. And the more you sit with it, the worse it gets. Because you're not just trying to figure out what happened anymore. You're trying to understand why it happened. And you never quite get there. This is the mysterious murder of Robert Wone. Are you ready?
Yes.
On the night of August 2nd, 2006, Robert Wone was supposed to do something incredibly normal. He was in Washington, D.C. for work, just for a quick overnight trip. And instead of booking a hotel, he decided to stay with a friend, which is something most of us have done at some point, right? You go into town for a night or two, and instead of getting a hotel, you're like, let me just sleep at your house. And it's totally normal for a lot of people.
Usually not me, but for a lot of people, yes.
It feels easier. Some people think it's more comfortable. You're not in some random hotel, you're with somebody that you know. So that night, Robert heads to a townhouse on Swan Street in DuPont Circle. And nothing about that decision at the time would have felt risky, because this wasn't some random friend. Robert and Joseph Price had known each other for years. They met back in college at William and Mary. And from everything people have said, their relationship was very close. The kind of friendship that picks right back up, even if you hadn't seen each other in a long time.
Yeah, that's a good friendship to have. I have a lot of friends like that.
Yeah. The kind where crashing at someone's house doesn't feel like a big ask. It just makes sense. But to really understand the environment Robert was walking into that night, you have to understand Joseph Price. Because Joe wasn't just anybody. This is early 2000s Washington, D.C., in DuPont Circle. And DuPont Circle specifically is one of the most well-known LGBTQ neighborhoods in the country. It's vibrant, it's social, it's tight-knit.
That shit's probably clean and stylish.
Yeah, I'm sure it's very, listen.
Gay dudes clean up the neighborhood, boy.
The street that they lived on had a lot of beautiful row homes and townhouses that are multi-million dollars.
I could see it.
So this community is vibrant, it's social, it's tight-knit. And for a lot of people, especially at the time, it was a place where you could build community and status all at the same time. And Joe was very much a part of that world. He was a successful attorney. He was well-known. He was well-connected. The kind of person who wasn't just in the community. He was established in it. Him and his partner, Victor Zaborski, were known in the DC gay community, and this is pre-legislation of gay marriage. So these two men called each other husband, and they were huge advocates for the legalization of gay marriage that would come years later.
I do know a gay dude that got married.
Yes, he's your friend.
And then got divorced.
Yes.
And then he got fucked and had to pay alimony.
Yes, he did. So this is pre-legislation of gay marriage, and these two men called each other husband and were huge advocates for the legalization of gay marriage that would come years later.
And hell yeah, if you feel like that's your husband and you're together for years, that's your husband.
Exactly.
Who cares what the government thinks?
These two hosted dinners and parties. They had a reputation for being polished, put together, and successful. These were not people living on the margins. They were professionals. Highly educated.
Well-dressed, swag.
Yes.
I could see it now.
Yes. Very aware of their image. The kind of people where, from the outside, everything looks very in order. And Robert, as a person, fit right into that world. He was 32 years old, a successful attorney as well. He was straight, not gay, and he was married to a woman named Kathy. People described him as incredibly kind, responsible, and someone who lived a stable, intentional life. So again, nothing about this situation feels risky.
He probably meal preps.
He might meal prep, yeah.
Definitely sounds like a meal prepper, which, people that are into fitness just try to rename leftovers.
So Robert and Joe had known each other for years. They were friends in college. Victor and Joe had planned Robert's wife Kathy's birthday party a few years before this. So these two couples were very close, Victor and Joe and Robert and Kathy. And they hung out together a lot. And like I said, they planned Kathy's birthday party a few years before. So they were close and very familiar. But what's interesting is that this is where things start to get a little more layered. Because Joe and Victor didn't live alone. Inside that house, there was a third man named Dylan Ward, who was also part of their relationship.
Oh, shit.
The three of them shared a home together in what has been described as a polyamorous relationship. Victor and Joe had been together for 6 years at this point, and they decided to bring Dylan into their dynamic about a year before the crime occurred. And this is where nuance matters, okay? Because alternative relationship structures, kink, BDSM, those things did and still do exist in parts of the gay or straight community, especially in cities like New York, LA, DC.
Oh, no. People have all kind of sex. Whatever you want to stick in your body, stick it in, bro. You want to stick a lamp in your butt? I don't give a fuck. What is the weirdest thing anyone has ever come into the ER in their butt while you were working there?
Okay, so there's a couple weird ones. We've definitely had, like, obviously vegetables, like squash or zucchini. Like, we've had a couple of those. But probably the one...
Wait, but do you guys get it out? Or do they gotta, like...
So sometimes they have to go into surgery to get it out. Or they have to go...
They cut their butt open?
No, like, they have to be sedated to get it out.
Oh,
I'm not going to go
no,
into...
they got to go elbow deep.
I'm not going to go into detail, but when you do put something in your butt, the sphincter sucks it in, you know? So, like, it goes... so,
you know what it reminds
that's
me
why
of?
things get stuck.
It's just a drive-through in the bank. And it sucks the tube up.
That's exactly how it is.
They created a sphincter.
It's the other weird, probably the other most interesting one was, you know, there was a couple who they were a gay couple and they were into kink and like BDSM, and one of the partners had a chastity belt that was metal.
That's where they lock it up.
Yeah. A chastity belt is where they lock it up so that only the person who has access to the chastity belt can unlock it or lock it at whenever they want. And so this chastity belt in particular was metal, and it was controlled by an app on the other partner's phone. And
these were not old gays. They had to be young.
They were middle-aged gays.
With an app? Oh, all right. Well,
Yeah.
I could use an app.
The app glitched and the chastity belt was stuck. But so we ended up it was stuck. So we ended up having to call the fire department.
But it wasn't on fire.
Because they have the
The
industrial...
jaws alive on his ass.
They have the industrial-sized bolt cutters. They had to come in.
That ass was on lockdown.
They had to come in and unlock unclamp it. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Wait, but why did they go to the ER?
Because
The belt was on, but it wasn't like in them. So that's none of your business.
No. You have to remember, like, you have to be able to pee, you have to be able to poop, and this particular metal belt...
He could just pee himself until they figure it out?
No, they couldn't figure it
They
out.
got that shit from Temu. That was not the legit one.
They had tried for hours and hours, and it got to the point where they couldn't do it anymore. And they needed,
he's like, I gotta poo.
and they needed it off. Okay, we're going off the rails here. Okay,
You don't get this in any other true crime podcast, but
I mean, I did work in an ER for a long time, and ERs are notorious for having people come in,
but they
and
still
not
should've-
just gay people. I mean,
went to the ER. They should have went to Home Depot and just cut the shit off.
No, I think they tried a lot of different things. They couldn't. There are plenty of straight men. Don't get it twisted, okay? There are plenty of straight men who have come into the ER who have things stuck in orifices as well, okay? There are plenty of
That's
people,
funny too, but
there
this
are
is
plenty
about.
of people in all types of relationships. This is not just a gay thing, okay? That have come into the ER with things in orifices.
Yeah, if they had an app and all that, it makes it funny.
The app is funny.
It's not about.
Especially because it glitched. So, let's get back to the story. So, Victor and Joe had been in this relationship for 6 years. They were husbands, right? I mean, not legally, but in every other sense of the word. They were husbands. They were married. And a year before the crime occurred, so a year before this, in 2005, they decided to bring Dylan Ward into their dynamic. And like I said, this is where nuance matters because alternative relationship structures, kink, BDSM, like these things exist in the gay and straight community, and especially in big cities like New York, LA, DC, where there are established social circles around it. So these type of alternate structures and relationships, they work for certain people because at their core, those dynamics are built on consent, communication, and very clearly defined boundaries. Okay? Everyone is very clear about what's happening. There are set boundaries.
They have like the main girl and then your secondary girl or whatever like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably what goes on, like a hierarchy, kind of like we adopted Tyson. Lucy's been here. She's 13. She's the queen. Whatever she wants goes. Tyson's, he's like second class. There's a second class citizen. No, he gets treated amazing. But if Lucy wants the toy and they both want it, Lucy gets it.
Yeah.
If, and if he took something from Lucy, we might take it back and give it back to Lucy. Her legs hurt. She's 13. She earned it.
So, these two men, Victor and Joe, they've been in this established relationship, and then they brought Dylan in. But like you said, they were the ones that were together longer. They were married, and Victor and Joe slept in the same bed every night, and Dylan had his own room on the second floor of the townhouse.
Probably, as a mature person would say, is they had a stronger bond.
Yeah. So the existence of that lifestyle in itself doesn't mean anything is wrong. But it does mean that there are layers to that household that from the outside, you wouldn't automatically understand. There are dynamics between the three men, routines, expectations, things that exist within that space that aren't immediately visible to someone who's stepping into it for the night. And Robert, even though him and Joe were close friends and he's known Victor and Joe for a very long time, he didn't know Dylan Ward very well. He just knew that this is now the third person in their relationship. And he's stepping into that space as a guest. Trusted, but still an outsider to that environment. And that becomes important because now you're not just looking at a friend's house. You're in a very specific environment with very specific people who are used to a certain level of control, privacy, and image. And that night, Robert Wone walks into that home, says hello, settles in for what should have been a completely uneventful night. And within less than an hour, something happens inside that house that no one has ever been able to fully explain. Robert Wone is murdered. He is stabbed 3 times in the chest. And according to the men in that house, it was an intruder who came in, used a knife from their kitchen, killed Robert, and then left before any of the men could see anything. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Financial stress affects way more than just our bank accounts. It takes a serious toll on our mental health sometimes. In a recent poll, it showed that 88% of Americans are feeling some form of financial stress since the start of 2026. Money worries bring anxiety, sleep disruption, and even depression, and they are the leading source of conflict among couples. This month, we want to remind people that financial stress is normal, and struggling with money doesn't mean you failed. Sometimes managing the stress of it makes a clearer path for you to make a plan. BetterHelp has over 30,000 therapists, and they are the largest online therapy platform. After you sign up, you do a brief questionnaire and you'll be matched with a therapist. And if you don't click with that person, it's no problem. You can change therapists at any time. When life feels overwhelming, therapy can help. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1. That's betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1. It's spring, the weather's getting warmer, and I'm doing a little bit of a reset with my wardrobe. As I've gotten older, I've realized that I need to focus more on quality versus quantity. That's why I keep coming back to Quince. The fabrics feel elevated, the fits are thoughtful, and the price actually makes sense. Right now, they have a ton of new spring pieces that are lightweight, breathable, and effortless. The kind of things you just throw on and instantly look put together. I just ordered their organic cotton poplin-tiered maxi dress in polka dot, and it is so cute. I am the queen of maxi dresses and jumpers because they are easy to accessorize and you automatically look like your life is together. So refresh your spring wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/wifeofcrime for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to quince.com/wifeofcrime for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/wifeofcrime. So let's back up. The reason Robert is even at that house that night actually starts earlier in the evening. At this point in his life, Robert had just made a pretty big career move. He had been working at Covington and Burling, which is a huge deal. It's a very prestigious law firm. And just a couple months before this, he takes a new position as general counsel for Radio Free Asia. So this is a transition period for him. A new job, new responsibilities, new schedule. And part of that meant working with people on completely different hours because Radio Free Asia is based out of China. So he has to work with people on opposite hours of us. They're 12 hours ahead in Asia. So on August 2nd, he had a late meeting with the employees who worked the night shift. So by the time that wraps up, it's super late. And this is where the decision comes in that at the time would have felt like nothing because Robert lives in Fairfax County, Virginia with his wife, Kathy. And instead of going all the way back home that night just to turn around and come back to D.C. the next morning, he decides to stay in D.C., which makes sense. Like, it's not weird. That's not out of character. It's just he's trying to be efficient.
So how long would have been the drive? Like, how much time?
It would have been about an hour.
You could go home. It's an hour drive, bro.
Well,
unless it's like a 2-3 hour turnaround, like some of my jobs used to be.
Yeah. So some people do debate that online. Like, why didn't he just take the trip home? He said that she had to work early as well. And so he was trying to just stay in the city because it was easier. His friends live there. He didn't want to go home, wake her up coming into the house. And then both of them had to be up early the next morning. So he thought it would just be easier to stay in D.C.
Like, if I was an hour away, I would just be like, I'm just going to come home. It's only an hour.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people feel that way. But at the time, he thought it would be better because his meeting ended like around 10:30 at night. He thought it would be better to just stay in the city because he had to be up early. And she did too. So he reaches out to Joe, someone he's known since college, someone he trusts. He's stayed with Joe at this house many times before when he worked late. And it's not just Joe. Victor also knows Robert, and he also knows Kathy. So this isn't like he's stepping into an unfamiliar situation. There's history there. It's comfortable. So later that night, a little after 10:30, Robert shows up at the house. He has his laptop with him, his BlackBerry, just normal work stuff. He's clearly planning to just go to sleep, wake up, and go to his meeting the next morning and continue on with his life. Nothing about this moment feels significant. And I think that's important to sit with for a second because this is one of those moments that in real time just felt routine. He comes in, the men talk for a bit in the kitchen, they all catch up, nothing stands out later as strange or tense or off, just normal conversation. It's late, it's a weeknight, and Robert has to be up in the morning, so he goes upstairs to the guest bedroom not long after he got there, and that's it. That's the last normal moment. And when you look at what happens next, This is where things start to feel tight in a way that's hard to ignore. Because from the time he walks into that house to the moment a 911 call is made, it's just over an hour.
No, geez.
That's it. Which I don't know. Even just saying that out loud, it doesn't feel like enough time for anything to happen.
To get mad enough at someone, like something has to escalate.
Or, like they said, an intruder came in.
Bullshit.
Because there's no buildup, no long night, no drawn out anything, just normal, and then suddenly, boom. At 11:49 p.m., a 911 call is made from inside the house. And that call is placed by Victor. And this is really the first moment where we start to hear how this entire situation is being explained as it's happening. So I want you to listen to this. I want you to really listen to this 911 call and listen to what's being said, but not just what's being said, but how it's being said. Victor is very feminine, so throughout this 911 call, the 911 operator is calling him ma'am the entire time, and he doesn't correct the 911 operator.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
DC Emergency 911 operator 6752. Do you need police, fire, or ambulance?
Immediately, we're needing an ambulance.
What's wrong, ma'am?
We just we had someone that was in our house evidently, and they stabbed somebody.
Okay, somebody's inside the house now?
I don't know. We heard.
Are they bleeding? You see someone bleeding?
Someone is bleeding in our house.
Okay, where's they bleeding from?
I think in the stomach.
In the stomach? Is he cautious? Calm down for me. I'm going to send some help, okay? Female or male?
It's a male. He's a friend of ours. He was spending the night with us.
Okay, and who was the person that stabbed him? Do you know? Is he conscious?
We need an ambulance.
Ma'am, listen to me.
He's not conscious.
He's not conscious at all?
No. We need someone right now.
Is he breathing? Listen to me. Calm down. I'm going to help you, okay? Is he breathing?
I'm upstairs, and he's downstairs. I don't know.
Okay, who's downstairs with him?
My partner is downstairs with him right now. He told me to go upstairs and call the police immediately. I just went to the stairs.
Okay, who's the person? Okay, I'm sending paramedics and the police. Okay, who's the person that stabbed him?
I don't know. We think it's somebody with an intruder in the house. We heard a chime to the door.
It's 15, ma'am, calm down. 1509 Swan Street, Northwest. Am I correct?
Yes, it is.
The person that stabbed him, is he still in the home?
I don't know.
We got help en route, okay?
Pardon me?
We have help en route.
Thank you. They're here.
They are en route to you now. I'm saying the police and the paramedics, okay, to assist. Okay, what I need you to do is go downstairs, okay? The place wherever he was stabbed at, I need you to get a dry cloth, okay? And just apply pressure to that area. If he was wherever he was stabbed at on his body, I need you to take a towel downstairs while you're waiting for the paramedics to arrive and just apply pressure. Even if the rag or towel is saturated with blood, just get another towel and put it on top, but never lift the first towel off the area. Hold it on. Once it gets filled up with blood, just put another towel on top of that and just apply pressure until the paramedics arrive.
Pressure until the
paramedics
on the legs.
Yeah.
There's stab in the heart.
In the heart?
Yes. In the center of it.
Okay. Is he breathing?
Is he breathing?
We have help en route now, okay? You don't know who it was?
I have no idea. Don't hold books like.
Okay, is he breathing?
He's breathing, but we need help now.
Okay, we have help en route, ma'am, okay? We do have help en route. Okay, just go down there and try to tell your husband or your the other half to just try to keep him calm and talk to him, okay? Keep him calm and talk to him until someone gets there. Okay. And at the same time, get a dry cloth and just hold it right there in the area.
My partner's holding it on him.
Okay, and once it gets saturated with blood, tell him get another one. Go get another towel so you can apply it on top of that one once it gets filled up with blood. Okay. We need you to apply pressure on that area.
He is applying pressure right now.
Okay, just hold it there until the paramedics get there. They should be pulling up any moment if they're already en route to your location. You don't know who did this.
We have no idea who did this.
The person that stabbed him ran out the door with a knife?
I think.
Okay, anybody get any type of description of the person that came in the
I have
home?
no idea. We have no description. We heard the chime, and we heard the scream from our friends.
Okay.
And so we came running downstairs. We ran in.
So you both was upstairs and your friend was downstairs?
Yes.
You heard the door open and then you heard the scream?
I didn't hear the door open until after the scream, and then we ran down the stairs and we heard we have an alarm, and so the chime went off.
Okay.
Is the ambulance, please? We really need the ambulance.
Okay, they en route now, ma'am. Go to the door. They should be pulling up any moment, okay?
I'm afraid to go downstairs.
Okay, the person who's downstairs was the person that was assaulted.
No, we're on the second floor.
Okay, so somebody need to go downstairs, open the door for the paramedics. You're not sure if that person's still in the home or
I
not.
have no idea.
Okay, we have paramedics en route, okay?
What time is it?
What time is it at the moment?
Yes.
23:54. It's 11:54, ma'am.
54.
Yes.
I mean,
I'll stay on the line with you. I will stay on the line until somebody gets here, okay? I won't hang up.
we need them right now. I'm not hanging up, but we need help now.
Okay, they en route, ma'am. They are en route.
Help us. We have someone was stabbed. They're on our second floor. Oh, yeah.
Ma'am?
No, it's really an emergency. I mean, he's hurry.
Ma'am, it's gonna be okay.
So that was Victor. And the 911 call, it actually gives us a lot of interesting information. At
I'll
first,
never believe this.
you'll never believe what?
That someone just walked in, stabbed him, and left. Unless he's Batman and has an arch enemy that's hunting him down.
Yeah.
So, no.
One thing that really stood out to me was in the beginning, Victor says, someone was stabbed. I find that weird. Someone was stabbed. Sounds super weird to me. Like if you were going to call 911, and I'm not the only person who feels this way. A lot of people feel like in the moment, if you call 911 and you have your friend who you are close friends with, and you guys have known each other for years, and he's your husband's best friend from college, and you call 911 because he was stabbed in your house, are you going to say someone was stabbed? No, you're going to say, my friend was stabbed.
You don't know how you're supposed to address the police. You might think you're supposed to, like, say what happened first.
No.
Or something just to, like, get the call going.
I think it's weird. Someone was stabbed is a really weird choice of word for me.
Someone was stabbed.
Yes, but it's a weird way to say it. Another thing that's strange is that a lot of people point out the fact that when she says, did you need EMS, police, or whatever,
Yeah.
that he doesn't ask for police, that he just asks for an ambulance. And a lot of people are like, if someone just broke into your house and stabbed your friend, and you don't know if that person's still in your house, you don't know if the intruder is still here, then wouldn't you ask for police as well? Police and ambulance?
That's the number one thing I'd be thinking if it was you.
So
I'd be worried about you.
Yes.
And I'd be looking around
Mhm.
how to protect you and save you.
But you wouldn't be concerned about an intruder still in your house if your friend was stabbed?
But my number one priority would be to save their
Ambulance.
life.
Okay.
If that would definitely be the first thing. I'm looking around like, I need an ambulance.
Yeah, so people online always criticize Victor and try to poke holes in this 911 call. This 911 call is huge in this case. We're going to get into the details of why this 911 call is huge later.
Oh, all right.
Okay. But this 911 call is a huge part of this case, and people pick it apart. And some of the main things they talk about are the fact that he only asked for an ambulance, the fact that he says someone was stabbed, and he says someone over and over again instead of our friend. He eventually does say our friend, but he says someone, almost like he's regurgitating a story. This is one of those moments where I can't point out one specific thing and say, that's it. That's what's wrong with this 911 call. It's not that obvious. But when I listen to it and then I think about what we're being told happened, a violent attack, an intruder, something chaotic happening inside that house, the more details we learn, it just doesn't fully click. I'm not saying there's one right way to react in an emergency. People react differently. We know this. Shock is real. But I can't ignore that when I listen to this, and then I try to line up with what's being described, and then we learn about the crime scene, which we will talk about soon, things don't add up. So when police and EMS arrive at the house, they're walking into this expecting something very specific. They've just been told there was an intruder, a stabbing, something violent and sudden, something that should have left a mark, not just on a person, but on the space itself. And I keep thinking about that because usually when something like this happens, you don't have to look for it. It's obvious, right? It's loud, it's messy. And almost immediately, that expectation completely falls apart. Victor is outside when EMS arrives. Dylan is in his bedroom. And from what's described by the EMS on the scene, as they walk upstairs to get to the guest room, Dylan comes out, sees them, turns around, walks back into his bedroom, and closes the door.
Very sassy.
And Joe is upstairs in the guest bedroom, sitting on the bed next to Robert's body with his back to the door. Almost like everyone is in position. So EMS goes upstairs. Robert's lying on the bed, on his back, and everything around him looks untouched. Okay? The sheets are pulled down neatly. Nothing is twisted. Nothing is out of place. Nothing looks disrupted, like any kind of struggle occurred. And it's hard to sit with because when you hear stabbing, your mind goes to a completely different scene. You picture movement. You picture chaos. An intruder comes in, grabs a knife, runs upstairs, stabs Robert. You picture blood everywhere. You picture struggle. But it's nothing like that. The room is just still. And then we get to his injuries. 3 stab wounds in his chest. There should be tons of blood everywhere. But there's none. The only blood found on the scene is on a small hand towel, and it's a couple drops. It really makes no sense. There should be blood all over this body. If you're being stabbed in your bed, you should have the sheets everywhere. It should look like you fought.
Oh, he could have been drugged and then stabbed.
There was literally no blood on his body. The only blood found was on that hand towel laying on the nightstand. And the more I sit with that, the harder it is to explain away because this isn't an area of the body where things stay contained. He's stabbed in the chest. The heart, the lungs, major vessels are all there. This is not subtle.
I heard that if someone gets stabbed with an ice pick, they don't bleed out.
Well, no, it's clear it was a knife that stabbed him. There are no defensive wounds. Nothing on his hands. Nothing on his arms. Nothing that suggests he tried to stop what was happening to him. And I keep circling that because I don't know how to make that make sense. He walks into that house completely fine. He goes upstairs. He lays down. And at some point, he's stabbed multiple times and there's no indication that he fought back. No movement, no interruption, no resistance. What happened in that room before he was stabbed? because something had to happen.
Looks cleaned up.
And this is where the case starts to open up in a way that I don't think you expect when you first hear it. Because when the autopsy is done, there are findings that just don't fit in the stabbing explanation. There are indications that something else occurred. According to the autopsy and the rape kit that was performed, there is evidence of sexual assault. And I remember reading that and just kind of stopping, because now I'm trying to place that into the timeline, into that same hour.
But I have a little question. Is there a difference between a way that they could tell it's assault or consensual?
So there isn't. But
so there was sex.
Okay, so I'm going to rephrase it, actually. There was sexual activity. There was evidence of sexual activity. We don't yet know if it was assault or not.
Yeah, 'cause she has a wife, so we're not sure.
But the biggest thing is I'm trying to place that into the timeline, into that same hour, and it doesn't fit.
There's a lot going on.
A lot's going on. But this is the part, this detail is the part that is completely insane. According to the autopsy, there was semen found on Robert, on the front of him and in his anal cavity. So the semen that was found didn't belong to any of the three men. This is insane. It belonged to Robert. His own semen
What?
was found on him and in him.
How, Sway? How?
Exactly. I literally wrote how in all cap. Why? Like, how? So we have this very short...
Locking everybody up.
So we have this very short timeline. A very controlled scene. No signs of a struggle. No blood. Pretty much no blood. And now this. And I keep going back to the same question. When did this all happen? Because it doesn't feel like there's enough room for all of that to unfold in less than an hour.
To get his own stuff to put on him and kill him. There's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on.
How did they extract it?
Exactly.
So he might have been batting for both teams?
We don't know, but we will discuss that as we dissect this case.
Switch it up.
It all starts to feel like things are overlapping in a way that we can't quite map out. And then you layer in the environment, because inside that house, there were elements of a lifestyle that involve control, structure, and very specific dynamics. There were items found in Dylan's room that are all BDSM paraphernalia, bondage tools, like really kinky toys. And again, that on its own doesn't mean anything is wrong. Many, many people have sex toys and bondage things and are in BDSM relationships. Who cares? But in a situation like this, it becomes part of the picture, whether you like it or not. And I think it's fair to ask, was Robert part of that? Did he have a sexual relationship with these men?
The only thing that would change is nothing, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to ask the question. However, after police investigated into Robert's life, read all of his emails, interviewed everyone he knows, went through his phone, there was literally no evidence that he had engaged in any sexual activity with these men or any other men. He was very happily married to his wife, Kathy. And the conclusion that police and pretty much everyone else who is involved in this case came to is that he wasn't a part of it. That he literally went to this guy, Joe's house that he's known for years, to stay the night innocently and then go to work the next morning. So now we're sitting with a scene that feels too clean. A body that didn't react the way it should have. And details that don't line up in any straightforward way. And I can't put it together. And the more I try, the more it feels like we're missing something. And then there's the way the men were acting. Because once you step back from the room itself, you start to look at the people inside that house that night, and that's where another layer starts to form. It's not one big obvious thing. It's a lot of smaller moments that when you put them together, they don't feel right. From the very beginning, there's a sense that the three men are aligned. They're talking to each other. They're whispering, checking in with each other before answering any questions. And I keep going back to that because something that happens this sudden, right? An intruder broke in, stabbed their friend, and left. You would expect a lot of scattered behavior, a lot of confusion, talking over one another. You expect people that are sitting here talking together, trying to figure out, what did you hear? Oh, what did you hear? Oh my gosh, back and forth.
They seem prepped.
But it's not really what it looks like. It feels measured. And as investigators start talking to them, getting their accounts of what happened, you start to hear a version of events that is very consistent across all three of them. Which, in one hand, you could say, okay, that makes sense, right? They're all in the same house. They experience the same thing. But at the same time, it almost feels too consistent. Not in a dramatic way. Just there isn't a natural variation that you'd expect when people are telling a story that's very chaotic.
So everyone's just saying, I don't know nothing. He's dead.
No, everyone's saying the exact same story. We heard a ring. We heard a scream. We went downstairs. We saw Robert in the bed. We saw a knife. It was our kitchen knife. And we never saw the intruder. And then we called 911.
Unless he was killed by a ninja, this is the stupidest story I ever heard in my fucking life.
I know. There aren't a lot of gaps in their story.
And there aren't a lot of ninjas, so it was one of them.
Exactly. There aren't a lot of gaps in the story. There are not a lot of I don't knows or I'm not sures. It's all very clean. And I keep coming back to that word because that's how everything feels. That's how this scene feels. That's how the timeline feels. And now that's how the story feels. And I think this is also where it helps to understand just something on a basic level. When we're talking about BDSM, right? Because I know not everyone listening is familiar with that world. And without context, it's really easy to misunderstand what certain roles mean. At its core, BDSM is all about power dynamics. It's about structure and roles and agreed upon control between people. And those roles are typically described as dominant and submissive, right? So in a BDSM relationship, you have one person who's dominant and one person who's submissive. But this is the part that's important. All of that is consensual, negotiated, contained within that context. Because outside of it, those roles don't necessarily carry over. And that's where Joe becomes very interesting. Because within that private dynamic, he was the submissive. Joe. Joe is Robert's friend from college.
Yes, I assumed whoever they would bring in would be the submissive. Because
No, Joe is not who they brought in. They brought in Dylan.
Dylan. Oh, so the dude that lived there was submissive?
Joe and Victor were husbands.
Joe and Victor were the husbands.
They brought in Dylan.
Okay.
Joe decided to be the submissive. He wanted to be the submissive.
Yeah.
Dylan was the dominant one.
Wow. So he brought in
the dominant one. Yes.
Damn. I thought he'd be like, this is my shit.
But Joe is very interesting because in everyday life, it's the opposite. And this is known across the board, where in these types of situations, a lot of times the ones that become the submissives are ones that are opposite in their real life. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
that's how every politician is.
Possibly.
In my mind.
So he's a high-powered attorney. He owns the home. He's established, successful, very put together. This is his space, his environment, the place where everything is structured around Joe, right? Victor is his husband, but Victor is clearly the submissive one between the two of them. And then you have Joe, who is this high-powered, controlling person in his life. In a sexual context, He is the submissive one. And so you have these two things existing at the same time. A man who in one context chooses to give up control and in another context clearly has it.
That means he has control over everything still, to me.
Exactly. So when something like this happens, something unexpected, something serious, you have to ask what version of that person showed up. The role that exists within a controlled private setting, or the person who operates when everything falls apart. And when I look at Joe in this situation, I don't see someone who feels out of control. I see him as the one in charge. He's in charge of creating the narrative about what happened to Robert, and the other men fall in line. Because at a certain point, you have to ask, is this just how things unfolded, or is it what's being presented? And this is the point where everything starts stacking up on itself, because now we're not just looking at one thing that doesn't make sense. We're looking at all of it together. A man walks into a house he feels safe in, a house with people he knows, people who know his wife, people who on paper should be the last place anything like this would ever happen. He goes upstairs, lays down, and within a little over an hour, he's dead. And nothing about that scene, nothing about what happens after behaves the way it should. The scene is too clean. There's almost no blood. There's no sign of a struggle. There are details from the autopsy that raise more questions than answers. Things don't fit neatly into a single explanation. Things don't feel like they belong in the same timeline, and yet somehow they do. And then we look at the people in the house, the way they're acting, the way they're speaking, the stories are lining up perfectly. And it's just uncomfortable. Because now we're not asking what happened. We wonder who. I think we can all say the intruder theory seems far-fetched. So who did this?
One of them?
And why? Was it one person? Was it two of them? Was it all three of them? Because when you look at it from the outside, it almost feels like we're being given a version of events that's already been agreed upon. And the more we try to follow it, the more it feels like we're being led somewhere that doesn't match what we're seeing. Every time we try to settle on something that makes sense, something pulls us out of it. We follow the timeline, something doesn't fit. We look at the physical evidence, something doesn't fit. We try to land on a motive, and that's where it all falls apart. Because the why still doesn't work. No matter how we approach it, no matter which direction we go, it never fully clicks into place. And that's the part that sticks with me. Because usually, even in the most complicated cases, the motive is what grounds everything. It's the thing that makes you go, okay, I don't like it, but I understand it. But here, we never get there. And the more we sit with it, the more it starts to feel like we're being given a version of events that explains just enough, but not enough to make any sense. And that brings us right back to where we started. Because this is one of those cases that everything at first glance feels like it should add up. There's a timeline, there's a story, there's people to tell it. But when we really start looking at it, when we slow down, when we sit with each piece, it doesn't come together. It unravels. And once you see that, you can't really put it back together again. So now we're left with the same questions. What actually happened in that room? What happened in that hour? And the biggest question is what we're not being told. And that's where we're going to pick up for part 2.
This is like a mix between like a game of Clue and the first season of American Horror Story in my mind.
Yeah.
Like those two gay dudes in the nice house.
Mm-hmm.
But then like who done it?
Yeah, it's very much
Like-
a whodunit. And I gave you the overview. Okay, we just went through the overview of the case. Next time, we're going to talk through the scene. We're going to talk through the autopsy, the body, what his body looked like. And we'll talk through the investigation and if the charges that were brought were too lenient or not.
What?
Yeah.
I thought they'd be rotting in jail right now.
This case, like I said from the beginning, it's a head scratcher. It boggles the mind, and it is layers and layers of confusion from the beginning to the end. For this case specifically, the devil is in the details. There are so many details that we're going to talk about. I'm going to nerd out on my medical stuff because when it comes to his body and the way it looked and then the autopsy and what they found, the medical stuff is crazy. So the more and more we talk through it next time, it's going to get even more crazy because the more details you learn, the crazier it gets. But I guess to be continued. And our listeners, you got to wait because Russ wants to wait a week.
Listen, guys, I have ADD. That's undiagnosed and unmedicated. What do you want me to do? I'm giving you all I got.
We're definitely going to be recording our next episode of Homicide New York probably tomorrow. So that'll be coming out on Patreon. And then next week we will pick back up with this case.
Yes, we will.
All right. Have a wonderful week, everybody. We love you guys. Check us out on Instagram at Wife of Crime Pod, Facebook at Wife of Crime The Crime Family, and Patreon at Wife of Crime Pod.
WifeofCrime.com for the fly merch if you got nothing to wear.
And ClutchDefenseCo.com. Have a wonderful week. We'll check you later.
Have the week you deserve, you filthy animals.
Bye.